When I got inside, I didn't turn on any lights. I didn't do anything I want. I walked through the front door and I went in the kitchen. And when I looked in the kitchen, I got just stopped in my tracks. And I looked at the stove and I don't know what the word is when I looked and I noticed the stove, that there was no pots on the stove. It was kind of unusual because usually when they ate dinner the night before, the pots usually stayed on the stove. Very, very seldom would he put, certain meals in the refrigerator. A lot of times it was just left on the stove until the next day. And the pots were not in the sink and they were not on the stove. And then as I walked through, if you walk through the kitchen like you're going to from the kitchen, if you walk through the kitchen, if you go to the left, there's 2 freezer and a refrigerator in the laundry room, sat right there to the left. There's a back door to the back porch and then there's the laundry room door. They're both right there. And as I turned to go to the laundry room, I noticed that her pajamas were in the middle of the doorway. It right in the middle, laid neatly in the middle of the doorway going into the laundry room. It was her pajama pant, a pair of underwear and her pajama top. Was that unusual? That was very unusual. But she wouldn't lay her clothes out like that, not in the middle of the door like that. It just didn't look right to me. And you took care of the house, you took care of the club, and not to get too personal, but sometimes you can't have it with the underwear there with the pajamas. Unusual, yes, one. She didn't wear underwear with her pajamas. No, to wear the pajamas that struck me. No, underclothes with the pajamas, but that struck you as unusual? They were there with the pajamas? Yes, sir, because the underwear appeared to be clean, not they still had like fold marks in the pots and I may have just missed it. You said where would the pots end up, what you found? After I lifted the pajamas on the floor the way that they were set, I turned around and I said, well, I wonder where the pots are. So I opened the refrigerator door and the pots were sitting inside the refrigerator with lids on them. And I was like, you know who did this? I don't know at that point. But that was not normal for the whole pot to be sitting in the fridge. Did you make any other observations in the house, the bathroom, or anywhere else in the master bathroom? Her clothes were sitting next to the tub. It was a small pile of clothes right next to the tub. And by the shower, if you walk in the master bedroom, there's a big garden spa type tub. And then right here is the shower and there's a window on the floor. Next to the shower was a slight puddle of water, a towel, and a pair of khaki pants. And then as I went to the left to see if there was anything else that was out, I looked in the closet. And in the closet was a white damp towel on the floor. It appeared that a t-shirt had fallen off of the stack of t-shirts that were on top of the shelf right there in the closet. It was laying on the floor next to the towel. Arrangement of clothing and accessories in a home. Discusses the organization of clothes and accessories, specifying that shirts and shorts were kept on shelves, with folded t-shirts on top, while belts and other items were stored in a box-like shelf. He took care of the home. Was that to tell us how the clothes were laid out? The shorts were you sent up on the shelf were shirts in the. There was a shelf, there was some shelves smaller, her shelves right here, then there was some long ones. Maggie used to keep her clothes on these, and then there was a shorter one, kind of like little box looking, up. Alex used to keep his clothes, his belts and stuff in that. And then on top there was also an area where he kept t-shirt, they were folded and they were kept on the shelf.